But first, we want to share with you some brand new developments we are learning in the Sean Diddy Combs investigations and civil lawsuits. We know this is an ongoing case against him, and now we are learning that one of the civil complaints that's been brought against Diddy has been amended. It's been amended. And so you may recall us talking about this case previously, and a case about a 13-year-old allegedly being raped by Diddy, allegedly being assaulted and raped by another male celebrity who was previously not identified. Now, that celebrity has been identified. He's been identified as fellow hip-hop mogul Jay-Z. His name has been revealed. The allegation is that he and Diddy raped a 13-year-old girl at an after party in the year 2000 after the MTV Video Music Awards. Now, Jay-Z is denying these allegations. In a statement he posted to his X account, he denies the allegations and questions why this was done civilly, why this civil lawsuit was filed demanding money, and why a criminal complaint has not been made. He writes, quote, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny," end quote. So that was what Jay-Z said publicly on his X account. In a statement to ABC News, that attorney, Mr. Busby, said, quote, "The pleading speaks for itself. This is a very serious matter that will be litigated in court." Now, this is the same lawsuit that was filed in October, accusing Diddy and accusing another celebrity of working in conjunction with Diddy to rape a 13-year-old not identified in the complaint, just named only as Jane Doe. And they also allege in this suit that another female celebrity was there the whole time watching this happen. So basically, we've heard these allegations about Diddy, and we're wondering who these two other celebrities are. In the first suit, they were just named as Celebrity A, a male celebrity, and Celebrity B, a female. Female just said to be watching, but Celebrity B said to have been taking part in the assaultive behavior. So now that suit has been amended and Jay-Z's name has been filled in. His real name, Sean Carter. So now he's a defendant along with Diddy.
The music industry is facing a major controversy following a lawsuit that alleges two prominent figures, Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs, were involved in inappropriate conduct with a 13-year-old girl in 2000. The plaintiff, who has chosen to remain anonymous, claims the incident occurred during an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards, an event renowned for its glamour and prestige. These allegations have sparked widespread debate across social media and beyond, casting a shadow over both Jay-Z and Combs.
In this particular civil lawsuit, there's so much to discuss here. Let me bring in our law enforcement analyst this hour. She is a law enforcement expert. She's also a trial consultant. Sunny Slaughter on the program. Sunny, good morning to you. We talked about this. We talked about this when that suit was first filed. We were all wondering, who are these celebrities? Who is this man who's alleged to have raped this child, as Diddy is alleged to have raped this child? And who is this female celebrity who's alleged to have watched these rapes happen? What's your reaction, please, to this allegation being brought against Sean Carter and him not wanting to settle this?
Good morning, Julie. Here we go again. Here we go with this case and the unfolding of it. So when it comes to Sean Carter being named, you know, we've been hearing the rumblings and the ramblings that it could be him, that he could have something to do with this, and now the name is out. I have to agree with him. If this is a criminal case, criminal charges, let's see that happen. I am always, as a law enforcement expert, a litigation consultant, and someone that specializes in trafficking and sexual exploitation cases concerned when we go to mediation regarding something that's criminal and not to the criminal litigation and for the investigation that is necessary in this case. Although it might be 24 years old, the allegations, we investigate cases that are 24 years old as law enforcement, and I think we need to see clear eyes and take down the temperature with the hype and get into the investigative material and start with Homeland Security Investigations, who has the expertise, who did the execution of the search warrant on Sean Puffy Combs stuff, and let's get into it that way as opposed to having mediation. These are criminal allegations, and we should not take them lightly, and particularly based on the age of the individual, and there could be others allegations.
Right, Sonny. And excellent points here. And let's keep taking it a step further. So you said this is a valid point, and I agree. I agree. I said it to my colleague, our senior producer on the show, Eric Goldson, when he said Jay-Z makes this point about why isn't this criminal? And I said, yeah, he's right. And I looked up the law. So the New York Child Victims Act, sometimes we hear it referred to as the CVA, a wonderful piece of legislation that opens up the window of the statute of limitations, right? Statutes of limitations, bar complaints that are.
The lawsuit claims that Jay-Z, Combs, and another unnamed celebrity allegedly took part in the misconduct. The plaintiff's attorney, Tony Busby, clarified that his client has not sought financial compensation from Jay-Z, emphasizing her goal of achieving justice through confidential mediation. However, the involvement of such high-profile figures has made the case anything but discreet.
To a new twist in a high-profile lawsuit accusing rapper Jay-Z of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The lawsuit, originally filed in October, was refiled today to include Jay-Z as a defendant. The anonymous accuser claims the assault occurred at an MTV Video Music Awards after-party. Jay-Z has denied the allegations in a statement on Roc Nation's Instagram, calling the accusations heinous and urging a criminal complaint be filed instead of a civil one. He also criticized the attorney behind the lawsuit, Tony Busby, accusing him of exploiting the case for personal gain.
Jay-Z has vehemently denied the allegations, describing them as baseless and labeling the lawsuit an attempt at extortion. His lawyer, Alex Spiro, has also criticized the claims, accusing Busby of exploiting the situation for personal gain. Spiro challenged Busby to pursue a criminal case rather than a civil lawsuit, if the accusations are indeed credible. This sharp rebuttal underscores the legal complexities and media scrutiny surrounding high-profile cases.
Denying allegations he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after-party in 2000. In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" He added, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Joining us now, Joey Jackson, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey, I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it. It's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning, good to see you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family, and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint, is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally. Now, with respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right, more than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress. Number three, that she phone called her dad, who showed up, the 13-year-old, and now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and, you know, we'll see what happens or if the DA looks and investigates.
So what happens now?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil...
Sean Diddy Combs, meanwhile, is already dealing with legal challenges, including separate accusations of organizing inappropriate gatherings and using threats to pressure women into participating. Combs has pleaded not guilty to these charges, with a criminal trial scheduled for May 2025. The new allegations add further strain to his already embattled personal and professional life.
And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right? Before that, just briefly, there was a demand letter sent. And a demand letter is a letter being sent by a lawyer saying, hey, I don't have to sue you. We can we can mediate it. If we reach an agreement, it never sees the light of day. Jay-Z saying, I don't care about your demand letter. I look at it as blackmail. You want to sue me, sue me. You want to look at it criminally, look at it criminally. But it'll go through the fact-finding process. If a trial is necessary to determine the facts, that's what will happen. But it'll be deemed civil. No indication at this point as to whether or not any criminal investigation will ensue as a result of this.
Yeah, and Jay-Z came back incredibly forcefully against these allegations and really singled out that attorney as well for being, I'm paraphrasing here, but greedy, saying he's out to get money, and calling that letter essentially blackmail.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Jessica, also suing the attorney, saying he's intimidating him, harassing him, etc. Now, demand letters are not new. What lawyers do is they send them out as a matter of protocol and practice so that you can expedite the process. At the same time, there's certain ethical standards that you have to use, and you have to have a good faith factual belief that this is true. Now, you can argue this complaint was filed in October, right? Could have mentioned Jay-Z then. You didn't. Why? It was amended now to include him. Are the factual assertions true? Are they fact or fiction? Is it a money grab or not? All of that will be litigated in a court of law, but according to Jay-Z, this never happened, is pure fiction. It is a money grab, and he's fighting for his name, reputation, and certainly innocence and justice in his view, which is he didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, and you touched on a point, too, that I wanted to ask you about, which was that this was an amendment to this already existing lawsuit. What are people to take away from that, the fact that they're coming back and adding to this now with this specific name?
Yeah, you know, Jessica, so it depends. That's also common. You could amend lawsuits, right, as a matter of course, and you do, to include certain factual allegations. The interesting thing to me in terms of your question and the takeaway, if you had this information about Jay-Z, it happened allegedly in September of 2000, why not include it in the original complaint? What happened between October and now that necessitated you putting in, and it's a question of credibility. Was he celebrity A, right, as was noted in the October complaint? Is this pure fiction? And what's interesting in the complaint is he really, that is the lawyer, tries to tie Jay-Z to Mr. Combs in so many ways, right? Birds of a feather is the argument that he's making. You can make that argument. You need the facts to sustain it. Let's see if they come up with any facts.
These allegations have sent shockwaves through the music industry, which is no stranger to controversy. Jay-Z, celebrated not only as a rapper, but also as a successful entrepreneur and philanthropist, has cultivated an image of stability and influence. Married to global superstar Beyoncé, he has often been viewed as a role model. These accusations, however, threaten to unravel that carefully crafted legacy, raising questions about the accountability of influential figures in entertainment.
There's an accusation about Jay-Z and Diddy and a teenager, 13-year-old teenager. and we were speaking about just the statement.
Right.
The statement, you were saying you felt like that was calculated.
That was that the statement is something from, you can tell it was written by a lawyer, because there's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says like you're gonna find out like how I'll handle this. Like, and that's an attorney want to be combative with another attorney. That's not like your publicist wouldn't say those.
Right. This is on your
Who put that up?
yeah, this is on
50?
yeah, it says I don't know what's going on, but are we still going to have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm asking for Kendrick. You know,
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out if we're still doing everything the way. Because look, they will fall back, but they like the NFL, they won't necessarily be associated to that.
Right. Why do you not insert yourself, but you're on top of every topic, right?
Yeah. I'm just watching. I'm participating. I'm being part of the culture. I'm just telling you my opinion.
Right.
Look,
Because you're part of the culture.
Like I can't say anything now. I'm out of it. I'm like I'm going to Dre's studio and just sit with Dre a little.
Right.
And then, maybe I stay out of trouble.
Nah.
For Combs, the situation is equally precarious. Once celebrated as a trailblazer in hip-hop and fashion, his reputation has been eroded by ongoing legal battles. The new lawsuit could further tarnish his public image, potentially marking a significant downfall in his career.
And so hard.
Who?
Usher was here last night, did a great concert. Chris Brown is now about to have a Quiet on Set type documentary.
You want to know what's funny?
Go, please. Yeah, I needed your take on this.
That's even happening.
I know. I said, what the? I said, what the? So I said, Jag is the first person I needed to hear from this. The fact that that's even happening. Give me your take.
I hate the fact that even me advocating for him might bring him more pain. They hate him. And Usher is like, he's the poster boy for booty hole baby oil and butt plugs. Like it's... And Chris Brown, and they keep trying. They did the same thing to Michael Jackson. They did the same thing. They just kept... For him, it was children. And for Chris, it's, you hit Rihanna. You a beat her for the rest of your life. You're a weirdo. Like, it's, we don't care that you're talented. We don't care that you don't hire lookalikes to come and do your concerts after people paid all that money to see you. Like Usher did. Like, it's...
If the documentary does show something or tell something that is damning,
anybody who wants to watch that needs to take into consideration that we live in the age of AI. And you can make a human being say anything you want them to if you have enough picture frames and if you have enough voice. But at the end of the day, we live in a day and age now where you can literally make a person say and do whatever you want them to. All you need is the right amount of pixels and the right amount of imagery, and you can make anybody say anything. Hey, well, wait a minute, didn't the DA thank me? The DA, in Diddy's case, thanked me too. Is that him or AI?
So, Jack, there's a saying, and Vlad brought this up right after you came on Piers Morgan. He's saying, of course, these documentaries tend to lead to like arrest.
Yeah.
And there's a saying that if there's smoke, there's fire.
If proven true, these allegations could have significant consequences for both men. Beyond potential criminal charges, they may face substantial financial penalties and lasting reputational harm. The music industry, often criticized for its handling of such allegations, may also face renewed calls for systemic reform and accountability.
Every Chris Brown fan. Like, I'm learning the sensational choreography because I got a little special plan. But I love that song, Sensational, with him and Davido. Why is it a #1 blockbuster hit everywhere in the world except for here? Maybe for the same reason that, you know, Rihanna's music is blocked. Have y'all noticed that?
Yeah.
They're blocking her records. Like if you go and try to add a song to a short, you know, the approved playlist when you put in search, you can't tag a Rihanna song to any of it. Not on Instagram at all. Why not? Especially anything from the Anti album. It was her best album. It was the least promoted. It came to mixed, no, it was amazing. But see, Sean Carter doesn't like to be embarrassed in public. And neither does his wife. And there were nothing but embarrassing things all through that album about.
I got a random question.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Janet Jackson?
That's a hard one. I love Janet. And I also know that Janet came up in a time where she was trying to find her own independence and trying to find her own voice. And she wasn't gonna let her daddy do to her what he did to her brother Michael. Janet is strong, she's smart, she's fierce, and she's loyal. She's a Taurus. You know, her birthday's May 19th. She's a Taurus. But the fact that her bisexuality is still being hidden. The fact that the real
Public reaction to the case has been deeply divided. Supporters of the plaintiff argue that the allegations highlight systemic issues of power dynamics and exploitation within the entertainment industry. They view this case as a potential turning point for movements like #MeToo, which have already brought down several prominent figures in Hollywood and beyond.
10-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs at an MTV Music Awards after party in 2000. His name has been added to a civil lawsuit against Combs, refiled in a New York court. In a statement, Jay-Z described the allegations as heinous, and he blasted the lawyer who filed the allegations, calling it a blackmail attempt designed to get him to settle.
Conversely, skeptics have raised concerns about the lack of concrete evidence and the timing of the lawsuit. Some suggest that the decades-old allegations are difficult to verify, while others believe the case is part of a broader pattern of targeting successful Black men in positions of power. This has further complicated discussions around race, justice, and accountability.
All right, did you hear about this? Rapper and music mogul Jay-Z is now being accused of raping a 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs during an MTV VMA after party in the year 2000. The rapper issued a blistering statement in response and directed his comments at attorney Tony Busby, who filed the suit, saying, quote, "You've made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. I look forward to showing you just how different I am." Criminal defense attorney Lexi Rigdon joins me now. Lexi, good morning to you. What a development here. So another thing Jay-Z said in his statement is that this was a civil suit filed against him. And he said these allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one, essentially saying, if I really did these things, treat me the way I should be treated. So how should we be thinking about all of this? What do you think?
Well, that's some denial from him. And, you know, sometimes celebrities have pretty muted denials, like, you know, I'm not going to comment now, or I direct all questions to my lawyers. I actually admire the strength of the denial. You know, I think that there is at this point, there's no objective indicia of reliability to this complaint. Now, obviously, things are going to play out and we're going to end up learning more. But if you look at it on its face, it's a 24-year-old complaint. Very significantly, he was not named in the lawsuit in the first instance when it was filed. The girl was allegedly 13 at the time it happened. And in the complaint, it says that she had been given something and she was quote unquote woozy. And so I think that this just needs to be looked at in kind of a measured way. Unlike the media is treating some people in the media, you know, Pete Hegseth being one of them, where they automatically hear an allegation and they run with it. I think that this needs to be treated in a measured type of way. We don't need knee-jerk societal reactions. Anybody can make allegations against somebody, and people who are rich and famous are particularly targets. And so obviously I don't know what happened, but I think it just needs to play out, and you know, we need to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point.
Well, that's what Tony Busby is saying. And so this federal lawsuit was originally filed in October. So interesting that we're only learning about this now. And then Tony Busby responded to Jay-Z's statement by writing this on X. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, meaning the defendant, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he...
The lawsuit, filed in New York State Supreme Court, highlights the challenges of pursuing cases involving high-profile defendants. Attorney Tony Busby, known for handling controversial cases, has drawn attention to the emotional toll on survivors. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's legal team has accused Busby of sensationalizing the case for media attention, adding another layer of complexity to the proceedings.
Bully and harass me, and this plaintiff, we will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate the facts in court, not in the media. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York declined to comment on whether the office is pursuing this case. So what happens next?
Well, who knows what's going to happen with that? I mean, we don't know if the feds are going to be looking into this. They may well be at this point. I think that there are people further looking into Diddy. I think there might be a superseding indictment coming, and probably looking into the people that he's associated with himself. But this also may well be beyond the statute of limitations. So it really just depends. I mean, as it stands right now, I can't imagine that there's enough evidence to necessarily bring something, because somebody's accuser saying something happened 24 years ago without more evidence is probably not going to be enough. But then again, we don't know what evidence she has. So it really remains to be seen if this is actually going to be passed on to the criminal authorities, or if they're working on it at this point.
All right, so jury deliberations in the Daniel Penny case are set to resume today after the judge dismissed Penny's second-degree manslaughter charge, which carried a 15-year prison sentence. A jury is now being asked to consider a charge of criminally negligent homicide, which carries a 4-year prison sentence. Tell us what criminally negligent homicide is, and should Daniel Penny be worried about being found guilty of it?
Well, criminally negligent homicide is that he did not act as a reasonable person should have under the circumstances. And this is just very troubling, because I was looking at the verdict form, and the verdict form actually says, for count 1, which is the manslaughter, if you find him not guilty, then you move on to count 2, which is the criminally negligent homicide. That didn't happen here. There was no finding of guilt or any acquittal. It was just, they were deadlocked. They sent a note. They said, we can't come to a conclusion. The judge made them go back and keep deliberating. And then, treating it almost like an a la carte menu, the state decided to say, all right, well, we'll just dismiss that count. We'll proceed on the second count. Well, that's not what the jury verdict says. That's not how they were charged. It's very, very inappropriate what happened here. His attorneys were outraged. They have every right to be. This is unfortunate. You know, whether he should be worried or not, I'm a little bit concerned that there wasn't just an acquittal, or not guilty. So there are obviously holdouts on the jury that believe that his conduct, at least for the manslaughter count, had risen to the level of recklessness, which would assume that it rises to the level of negligence. So I don't know. I mean, I think that there is a chance that he could be, but I also think it's equally, probably more so, that it's, again, a hung jury.
We will be watching it all. Lexi, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Carly.
Have a good day.
The involvement of prominent attorneys, Alex Spiro for Jay-Z and Bradford Cohen for Combs, ensures that the legal battle will be intense. Both lawyers are experienced in defending high-profile clients and are expected to employ rigorous strategies to protect their clients' reputations.
Calling the sexual assault allegations leveled against him heinous and idiotic. A woman is already suing rapper Sean Diddy Combs. Now she's updating that lawsuit to include Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. The woman alleges that both men assaulted her at a party in the year 2000 when she was just 13 years old. Jay-Z is married to singer Beyonce and says He's being blackmailed.
This case comes at a pivotal moment for the entertainment industry, which continues to confront allegations of abuse and exploitation. Movements like #MeToo have empowered survivors to come forward, but have also highlighted the challenges of achieving justice against powerful individuals. Cases involving figures like Harvey Weinstein and R. Kelly have exposed systemic issues, and this lawsuit could further underscore the need for cultural and institutional change.
Jay-Z has been accused of sexually assaulting a teenager in 2000, allegedly along with Sean Diddy Combs. NBC News reports that the anonymous accuser claimed the assault occurred at a house party after the MTV Video Music Awards when she was 13 years old. The lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York against Sean Diddy Combs, but was refiled on the weekend to include Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. It's alleged the accuser had to sign a non-disclosure agreement to enter the party, which they claim was filled with celebrities doing drugs. The accuser says she was offered a drink that made her feel woozy and lightheaded. Shortly after was when the alleged sexual assault took place by both Jay-Z and Diddy. Jay-Z has strongly denied the accusations, telling NBC News in a statement, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Sean Diddy Combs is right now behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Centre after he was denied bail for a third time. Federal prosecutors in New York criminally charged him in September with racketeering, sex trafficking and other offences. He's denied all the accusations against him. His trial is scheduled to take place in May. NBC News reports that Texas-based attorney Tony Busby, who filed the suit, has not commented. In Jay-Z's statement to NBC News, he accused Busby of blackmail. He says, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny." Tony Busby has filed several lawsuits in recent months. All have withheld their complainants' names, accusing Sean Diddy Combs of assault. This is the first lawsuit which has named another high-profile defendant.
The music industry, in particular, has been criticized for enabling harmful behavior. From controversial lyrics to reports of misconduct by executives and artists, the industry has often been accused of perpetuating a toxic culture. Regardless of its outcome, this case could reignite debates about ethics and accountability in entertainment.
My name is Jonathan Hay. I'm a publicist. I've been doing this for 25 years at a pretty high level with a bunch of major clients and stuff like that. Throughout the years, people can Google it and see, and see the stuff that I've done and that type of thing. But, I want to say something real quick when we jump off. I was just sitting here thinking about some of the people who are discrediting, because I've been speaking out for, just like for the last few months, and people have been trying to discredit me. And I see that they try to discredit Jaguar, right? And the thing I want to say about that is, to start it off, is like, I challenge academics who is a journalist. He's an investigative journalist, and he was rated the number one media guy, and he likes to take deep dives into things, to take a deep dive into my relationship with Drake, since he likes to cover Drake, and looking to see that if I didn't do a deal with Drake and Future the Prince this year, 2024, I challenge academics to look and see, contact Future the Prince, contact Drake, and see if we didn't do a deal this year. And I say all that to say, because if I can touch Drake, pause, no Diddy, if I can touch Drake, if I can go that high, to the biggest artists in the world, then there's no telling where I can go. And so my credibility should never be called into question, because I've done deals with Drake this year, and that's fact. And if anybody ever trying to discredit that, like an academics or anything, he can contact Drake direct, ask about me, and ask if we did not do a deal this year. Secondly, a lot of people have been hitting me about, how could Jaguar Wright know all these things, right? And how, Jaguar Wright hasn't worked with Jay-Z since, when she did the Unplugged. That's a long time.
As the case unfolds, key questions remain unanswered. Will the plaintiff be able to substantiate her claims? How will Jay-Z and Combs navigate the dual challenges of legal proceedings and public perception? And what broader impact could this case have on the cultural landscape?
I can tell you just from what I've experienced is the people that have contacted me since I've done like your show and since I've done other shows, people have contacted me, other victims, and have sent me. Obviously, there's been some people that have sent me stuff that, doesn't check out or whatever. But victims have contacted me, and they have sent me proof that can never be disputed, photos, everything else, because they don't want to bring their story out. But they like what we're doing. So they're whistleblowing, but they're doing quietly to protect their jobs and to protect their families and to protect, whatever. They're not comfortable speaking out. So if I've got all kinds of information in the last 2 months, just from doing, shows like you guys, I can't imagine all the stuff that Jaguar Wright has got and to her, and the access that she's seen and the people who have came to her. Like, she has such a bigger reach and such a bigger audience than me. It's and mine is getting to the point where it's overwhelming of people reaching out who have suffered abuse from Diddy, from Jay-Z, and from these celebrities. Sorry about that. I was just thinking about that right now. So
no, please. So if you don't mind letting us know, after you came on and did your interview with us, what has come your way as far as, let's just say, either backlash or just trying to discredit you, or like, what can you let us know kind of what?
There hasn't been any backlash as far as like, what Jaguar has experienced, right? And I was just watching Academics the other day, and he was being objective about her, but he was also saying like he didn't believe her. And when I'm saying to Academics is just what I told you, fact check me, right? Put your investigative journalist hat on and fact check me about Drake and I. Like I was saying, fact check me. And Jaguar has more information than I do. So to anybody who discredits her.
For Jay-Z, the stakes are immense. His legacy as a rapper, entrepreneur, and cultural icon hangs in the balance. If the allegations are disproven, he may emerge with his reputation intact, albeit scarred. However, if proven true, the fallout could be devastating, affecting not only his career but also his personal life, including his marriage to Beyoncé, who faces her own public scrutiny as a global figure.
Early on, and he played a significant part in help building that Rockefeller stuff too as well. So, we don't mention him. So, and he died. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of went with silent kings of people that, that have an impact in your life that you really don't, even they don't think you still remember what you've done for them. I'm thinking about, my trial, my family, my real friends, you know what I'm saying? My boss at work, you know what I'm saying? The real people that played a superior role to get me to where I'm at right now, you know what I'm saying? So it's just silent kings.
Can you name a couple of those people that played a role, you know what I'm saying? Because we like to show love to the underground, the street stars.
From the very beginning, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Panama. He, Jay don't mention him in none of the records at all, but he was definitely, it was just four of us, me, Panama, my Uncle Buzz, and Jay himself. Speaking for those names. Then you got my mom, you got my family, you got key roles with people that's like the Silent Kings things, man. Even my mentors, You know what I mean? The OGs that raised me, that's gone and stuff. You know what I mean? That's just who the Silent Kings was, you know. I learned from Big Stan, Calvin and stuff, my Uncle Calvin and all this. Like, these are all Silent Kings, people that meant something to me in my life, man. And just can't forget them. And I just want them to know, when they look at this and be proud of me, where I'm at and what I'm doing now, let them know I just didn't forget them. And this is everything that...
For Combs, the allegations compound his already complex legal troubles. Balancing multiple cases will test his ability to defend himself effectively. Even if acquitted, the reputational damage may be irreversible, marking a turning point in his career.
Remind them that I'm always thinking of them.
Now, as a young dude, I was watching the interview. We said, man, you had a different childhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you started off in the streets very early. When you talk about things like your mom, like when she seen you, you know, what you were becoming or what you were stepping into, what was her reactions to things like that?
Know what you're doing. Very protective. I mean, she protected me to a point where she moved me out of New York. You know what I'm saying? Because she seen that me making a different turn in life.
Where'd she move you to?
She moved me to New Jersey. Her and my coach, actually, my coach suggested it, like, because my coach was like, yo, you know, if he gonna give up on school, this is gonna be his last chance right here. This is a decent basketball program he can go to and stuff. I think he can get some love over there. He got some key players over there that was going to the D1 schools. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up going to that school, getting transferred out of New York, going to that school.
Wait, what age was this?
This was 16. Getting transferred out of New York. I get in Jersey, and I get in this school, and it was something like I've never seen before. Like I've seen hustling dudes before, but to go to another city, go to another state and city and see a whole different vibe. Like everybody in this school was hustling.
So what was the difference between New York and New Jersey?
New York, that a lot of young dudes hustling in New York didn't have that kind of money. You know, they was more into fashion and this and that and the third. They would be spending their bread up on jewelry, fashion, and clothes, right? But them Jersey dudes, they didn't have a lot of access to stuff. So they just saved money. But when I got in that high school there and I seen dudes pushing Porsches and Benzes and iced out coming to school and, you know, gambling, watching. In high school. You know what I'm saying? The whole time now, my cousin, you know, he taking me to school, putting me on and things, but he ain't telling me what he doing. You get what I'm saying? But when we get into high school, everybody like, Whitey, you know, he's that dude, you know what I'm saying? But he known as a gambler, you know what I'm saying? And he would always be like, yo, I'm going on the back exit. So when I finally see what's going on the back exit, I'm talking about these dudes is dice games in high school with $20,000, $30,000 on the floor. And I'm like, oh shit, I ain't never seen these many young people.
This case could serve as a defining moment for the #MeToo movement. While the movement has made progress in raising awareness about abuse, it has also faced criticism regarding due process. High-profile cases like this one could shape public perceptions of the movement, either reinforcing its significance or exposing its limitations.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think of the power of that moment. Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl.
The music industry must grapple with its role in fostering a culture of impunity. This case could prompt a long overdue reckoning, forcing influential players to address systemic issues and work toward meaningful reform.